Hello there. Welcome back to another Culture and Connections with 48 Days. I am your hostess, Mariah Young, First Impressions Director with 48 Days. And today I get to bring to you our first ever Dream Activator Highlight. Guys, you are not going to want to miss this. And I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted to publish a book? We're going to talk about that today with my guest. So stay tuned, get a cup of coffee or some water, whatever you're drinking, and join us. We'll be back in just a moment. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're here, make sure that you comment because StreamYard does not show me that you're here. I'm sorry. One of the bad things about StreamYard. However, we get to come to you live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So that is so awesome. Today, I am bringing to you a special guest. I have gotten to watch her journey for a little while, and it has been so much fun. You guys are going to love her story. You're going to want to get her book, and it is just going to be an excellent interview. So make sure that you stay tuned and grab a cup of coffee. So Roxanne is amazing. I'm actually going to let her share her story with you. I love what she has done. I love how she has utilized her resources, her community. And in 48 days, we want to help people activate their dreams. And I cannot think of a better story than Roxanne's to show how we are doing that. So without further ado, I bring to you author Roxanne Bocyck. All right. Yay!
Thank you,
Did I
Mariah.
get your last name? Can you please share your last name? I know I never say it right.
Oh no, you said it right. That's how
Okay.
That's how my husband's family says it, Boysick. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh, Roxanne, I'm so glad you're here to share your story today. Can you share with us first a little bit about yourself, and then let's jump in?
Well, Mariah, like many of the people watching, I've always had dreams, but sometimes when we have dreams, for whatever reason, they don't happen. So right now I live in Syracuse, New York. And Jace, I've had a lot of different experiences in life. I guess that's what helps me to be an author, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of different dreams. And, some of those dreams, they stay with us. And deep down, even though we're doing other things, they're still in us, So one of my dreams had always been to write a book. And, I've had other ones too. But yeah.
Now, you do come from a diverse background. I mean, you've done so many things. When you tell me the things, I'm like, what have you not done? You have done all kinds of things. Can you share a little bit maybe about your background and the work that you've done? And I apologize, I didn't prep you with this question, but I think it's really relevant and interesting because I think many people can relate.
One of my dreams was becoming an elementary school teacher when I was young. And as I grew older, my family wasn't big on going to college. So I did never end up going to college right out of high school. So I had gotten a position in a warehouse. I'd been there like 12 years. And I'm like, man, I really want to be around kids. What job could I do where I could be around kids? But I don't have a college degree. I know, I'll become a school bus driver. That'll do it.
Yeah.
So another dream of mine was to go to college. That was in me. So eventually I became known as the school bus driver that went back to school at Syracuse University. So that was a really honorable time in my life. At age 44,
you highlighted too? And weren't you highlighted in the newspaper?
Yes, I was featured in their ad campaign because for one of my classes, I had to interview a marketing department. And I thought, I'm going to interview the marketing department at Syracuse University for part-time studies. And when I did, they ended up interviewing me. And well, the rest is history.
I love that. And what a great, I don't know, what a fun opportunity that you created there. I love that.
Yeah.
So too. Let's dive in to your Dream Activator story. This is so much fun. Can you kind of walk us through how that looked?
Well, for sure. It all began in 2020 when that dream was activated in me, or I should say reactivated.
Mm,
Because, like many people, I had lost a job that I had had, due to COVID.
mhm.
And, this had a lot of us thinking about, wow, how short our life can be. And I needed to take a step back. And I thought, well, what is it I really want? Because, I could just try and search for another job, whatever. But I just took some time. And during that time, I learned about Dan. I've always listened to Dan Miller and his podcast, 48 Days to the Work You Love. But he was offering a webinar about the Eagles community. And this is a community that's online, but it's here to help people with their dreams and figure out what they'd like to do and to have support from others. And my husband and I watched the webinar together, and we both looked at each other and said, I need to join this group. So I did. And Mariah, people in the Eagles were activating their dreams. I mean, encouragement. I mean, they were taking action. And it got me thinking, okay, what is it I really want? So, I really wanted to achieve a goal of writing a book. And Dan taught us the importance of having a coach and investing in ourselves. So I hired a writing coach. And he asked me, okay, Roxanne, you've got some book ideas. Oh, and while I was in the Eagles, I had this children's book in me from being a school bus driver. And it was about school bus safety because I used to do a puppet show. And this is my school bus safety hero. I don't know if you can see him. So
That's
with Eagles,
adorable.
I started storyboarding the book and doing the manuscript, so this is it, right? So when my writing coach asked me, Roxanne, what book ideas do you have? I'm like, oh, I've got this children's book. And then I had a book about going back to school as an adult learner, some of my experiences. Oh, and then I had this story about my grandmother who came from Poland in 1921 under an arranged marriage. And she ends up in the foothills of the Adirondacks in New York State in a paper mill town. And something happens there that makes the newspapers and everything. And I'm just like, I've always wanted to write that story. So my coach said, that's the one. So in January 2021, I activated that dream and I started working with my coach and just writing that novel.
Oh my gosh. Okay, do you want to go ahead and name drop that coach?
Oh,
Or you
yeah.
don't
Well,
have to.
his name is David Hazard.
Okay.
And if the audience Googles them, they'll see his website and everything.
I
I
love
had
it.
actually met him on a Zoom call similar to what we're doing. He
Oh,
was doing a
perfect.
talk about, how to get your book published. And because I
Mhm.
wanted to write a book, I thought, well, this is perfect. And he was
Mhm.
local. So he's within a 2-hour radius of me. He was giving this talk.
Wow.
So that
Now, I
really,
will
mhm.
Oh, I love that that's the first book, even though you had other books in you too. So are
Mhm.
you planning on writing those other books
Well,
still?
yeah, they're in my dream bank, I guess you could say. So that's the other
Okay.
thing, I'll have to start thinking about my next projects. But right now, it's really about promoting the book that I've written and thinking about my next book. You're right.
I love it. I love it. And we'll talk about some of the things you're going to do here in the near future too. We had some great stuff happen at an event, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Um, so I'm so curious. Could you share a little bit? I know I did not prep you with this
Oh,
question either, but what I do love is when you and I got to know each other, I felt so kindred to you, particularly with your college story about like,
oh.
all the things that you did, because you got really active at
Hmm.
college. You didn't just go and kind of be there. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know it's kind of
Oh,
a little
no.
bit out of timeline, but
You
it's
know,
so
going to school as an adult, because I went back at age 44, because I had been a school bus driver, I was used to young people. Where many
fun.
adults, like you say, who go to college, they'll be like, I'm just going to class and doing my work. But I'm in class, with the younger people, and I'm like, hey, how are you? Striking up conversations and, because you have to collaborate on projects together as well. So that was an
Mm-hmm.
advantage. And I was someone who would visit. Syracuse University has 14 different colleges.
Oh,
And so I'm through the College of Arts and Sciences, and I went part-time through what was then University College, which is now the College of Professional Studies. So
okay.
I would go in all the buildings and read the billboards. So, I had done weekly newspaper writings for my local hometown newspaper. That's how I like to learn about writing. And so there was this club. It was a radio and television club. And so I thought, well, always wanted to do like a TV thing or be on the radio and do a story. So I joined, and sure enough, next thing I know, my stories were on the radio. And I'd be driving my school bus and I'd say, listen, here's my story, and play it over the speaker. It was a lot of fun.
I love that. I think you are such a great example of somebody who not only, can seize an opportunity, but you can continue to create opportunities out of that opportunity, and you see them. I love that. I think you and I'd be very similar. I'm like, I'm joining all the clubs.
I'm joining. Like I told you, I was like Marsha on the Brady Bunch. Sign up.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I'm sorry. I had to make sure we dipped into that because I think it is such a great example of how, when you're someone who sees opportunity, you see it everywhere. You just, or you create it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that is so true. So can you tell us a little bit more? So I love the story about your grandma. It's so crazy when you said the date. That's the first time that hit me. That was over 100 years ago.
I know. It was. Yeah.
Oh
She
my
came
gosh.
here as a young woman, like I say, from Poland, under an arranged marriage by her brother. Because a lot of the traditions back then were, your family, creates a dowry and helps you find a husband, And it was expected that women would be married and have children and work on the farms and all of that.
It's
So, yeah.
incredible.
So,
So you have been doing a lot of things as well to kind of get back to your Dutch roots with this too. This has been really neat to watch. Can you share about that a little bit?
yeah. So, part of my heritage, coming from Poland, I joined the Syracuse Polish Home, which is here locally, and I help out with their events and, help spread the word about the culture and get people interested in their own backgrounds and their own cultures. And,
Yeah.
Mariah, whenever I meet someone, especially with a background from Eastern Europe, they're always eager to share their ancestor stories with me. Like, oh, my grandfather came from Poland, or my grandmother came from Russia, which was occupying Poland for over 100 years. And a lot of people don't know that. It wasn't
Yeah.
until the Great War or World War I that Poland got its borders back after over 100 years of not having their borders and being
Wow.
forced to learn, other languages and not practice their culture. So it was
Wow.
very interesting, the research that I found out.
I
Mhm.
love that. And I said Dutch. I meant Polish. My brain just went to Dutch.
Hey, it's
I don't know
okay.
why.
It's
But
across the ocean.
you've been actually going to like Polish festivals. You've been doing all kinds of like fun stuff. And I think that is such a cool way to engage as well. Have you found that to be a pretty great audience for you to share?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I just had my book featured in the Polish American Journal because I
Hmm.
had sent them information and asked them, if they put an ad in there, and they even did it in color. I love it. So
Oh,
now
I
I'm
love
starting to
that.
take that reach nationwide. So, like you
Yeah.
say, next year I've got 4 Polish festivals that I plan to attend. Pennsylvania, in Chicago, here in New York. Buffalo was a big Polish community. So yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. I mean, I
Mhm.
just feel like you're empowering people who may not have realized that their stories are important and their roots are important.
Yes, yes, that's for sure.
Awesome. I love it. So has there been, I would love to hear, since you've been kind of going and, being engaging in these communities now, are there some fun things that you have learned about, your own roots from this?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I'll give you an example. I have to reach over here. So around Easter time, a lot of these eggs are made, not only for Poland, but Ukraine, because a lot of the Ukrainian Polish borders, like I say, they crossed each other, you know. And with this, they take wax and they color the egg. They'll put designs on them. I don't know if you can see them. And like the flowers might mean rebirth and all of
Wow.
this. And I found that fascinating. Oh my gosh, I learned about something called Dingus Day. And this is the day after Easter where the boys in Poland would throw water on girls that they liked. And, it's just a funny kind of day. They might even go to their bedroom window and splash water on them, through the window. I mean, so
Oh
many
my
great
gosh.
culture things that I learned. All
I love
Saints
that.
Day, which is similar to what something Mexico celebrates, like where you
Okay.
visit graves and you put candles and their favorite items on their graves and things like that. But we do
Wow.
it All Saints Day too in Poland. I learned about
Okay.
that.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Wow. I just love how not only are you expanding opportunities for yourself, for others around you, but I love how you're expanding because of that community as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So let's jump back to the book.
Okay.
So you hired a coach. You're
Hmm.
part of the Eagles community, which has been an uplifting. And I understand that you also collaborated with some people in the community.
Oh my gosh, because when you write a book, you always want to have beta readers, because you need the feedback before you're going to put it out there to the publishers. You want to put the best book you can forward. So
Mhm.
I had 13 beta readers, and 10 of those people were in the Eagles community. And that was so helpful to me. People that were interested in, like you say, history, fiction, stories. So I got a lot of great feedback from them and just the encouragement of way to go, Roxanne, keep going. And I must tell a story of how I found my publisher, if that'd be okay. Now, I know in the Eagles community, we have David Hancock, who is with Morgan James Publishing. And I knew about that, but I was just trying to reconnect with publishers. So I learned that a lot of them hung out on Twitter. So I would start going to Twitter and commenting on their posts. And what happened was one of the acquisitions editors had made a comment about how fiction novels are normally 100,000 words. Well, mine, because it's historical fiction, is 106 at the time. So I had said to him, well, mine's 106. Isn't that more acceptable because of historical fiction? And he said to me, send it to me. And I thought, okay, what have I got to lose, right? And little did I know, Terry Whalen is an acquisitions editor for Morgan James Publishing, which is owned by David Hancock. So it is so neat to me how it just circled together. I had every intention of reaching out to David, but here it reached me before I could reach out to him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's beautiful. I
wow,
love
if that
it.
isn't a sign, what is, right?
Exactly. And I love how that just so perfectly came together. Again, this creating the opportunity. You knew where they were hanging out. And so you started hanging out there too and finding ways to not just to use them, but to truly engage in conversation and authentic questions. And
And
oh
take
my gosh.
action. That's the
Yes.
biggest thing, Mariah, to all these dream activators watching. You need to take action on your dream, even if it's just a little.
Yeah.
Like if you're thinking of writing a book, well, start following authors on social media, learn about what they did, reach
Hmm.
out, ask them questions, just little things.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think you kind of answered the next question that I was going to ask you, but let's make it official. So, can you look at, looking back, here you are now an author, amazing, with a publisher, like, wow,
Like Morgan
is
James, thank you so
right.
much.
Huge. Is there like one action step that you can look back right now and you could say it was that thing, that action step that led me to where I am today?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that, because the biggest thing I did, and this was even before COVID, is my husband and I got out of debt. We followed Dave Ramsey's plan. I don't know if any listeners here have heard of Dave Ramsey, but by following his plan and having that emergency fund and having savings and having freedom from debt, that enabled me to pursue my dream.
Mm,
Because if when COVID hit, let's just say I was in debt and I had a car payment and a camper payment and whatever, do you think I would have been thinking about my dream? I would
mm-mm,
have been thinking about what's my next job, right?
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
to me, getting out of debt is the key to living your dream. Now that's for me, but for others, but that was
Oh,
it for me.
I
Hmm.
actually love that you said that because I
Hmm.
think you're so right. When we are strapped and we're desperate and we don't know where our next,
Hmm.
money is going to come from, it is very hard to be in a place of, being able to receive or give in any way. And in order to build a dream like this, you have to be able to do both, right?
Exactly. Because you're going
Yeah.
to make better decisions, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
So good. I love that. And I think
Hmm.
it's, so often, I talk with a lot of CEOs with what I do with gals. And that's one of the things that I really talk about over and over again is your finances have to be in order for you to be a powerful woman.
It's so true, though. It really is. And you've got to really know what it is that what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Okay. We're going to turn to a fun question. This is one of my
Okay.
favorites. I love that question too, because you just never know what you're going to get. Like I
Hmm.
love that question. But here's another one of my favorites.
Okay.
Can you tell us something fun, funny, or interesting about yourself?
All right. So in my book, which is right here,
Ooh,
I
yes.
have a special necklace. Okay. And if you look on my spine, you can see it. Okay. So the reason why I have this necklace is because in my grandmother's original wedding picture, there's some kind of necklace she is wearing. And I wanted to incorporate that in the book. And at the same time, when I was going to college and after I graduated, I bought a class ring. And this ring reminds me of, wow, you did it. You had a dream and you pursued it and you made it happen. So I want this necklace to represent, especially to women, you have a dream, you're going to take action, you can make it happen. But the interesting part is, at first I was looking on like Amazon or Etsy to find like someone that could make a necklace that represented the one in my story. But I didn't have much luck because either they were they were hollow or, not very good quality. So I went to my local jeweler and I thought, well, maybe they'll have an idea. Maybe they have a connection. Well, the jeweler says to me after I tell him about my story, he goes, well, Roxanne, why don't you design the necklace? And then I can make the mold and you'll always have it. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know I was going to design jewelry, but sure enough. I mean,
Wow.
who would have thought? And
That's
what's exciting,
amazing.
Mariah? For my book launch day, I'm going to be giving away one of these necklaces, which is
Oh,
November 21st, by the way.
awesome. Thank
And
you.
also
Yes.
on my website, I want to be able to have them available for people to purchase so that they know that they can have a dream and wear this to remind you. Like I wear my ring, remind me.
I
So
love
yeah,
that. I
that's
think
something
it is
interesting.
so vital to have things like that that remind you of your accomplishments.
Yeah.
I love that. We can so easily forget, right? Or we can just move to the next things or just
Hmm.
kind of continue going and going and going
Hmm.
without acknowledging that amazingness of that we accomplished this. I love that. That's
I
so
know.
cool.
I know. We need confidence. We really
Yeah.
do. And that's what the Eagles helps us get, doesn't being an Eagle member. I mean, I can't talk about that enough. I'm sorry, but it's just so awesome.
I love it. Can you share what happened? There was a really
Oh,
fun thing that happened. We had our Sarasota event in Florida on
yes.
August 9th and 10th.
Hmm.
Can you share what happened with that? That was so cool.
Well, one thing when you're publishing a book, it takes you know how you hear people say, or a publisher, well, it'll be a year before it comes out, and you're like, what? But that's because, you have to make sure they have editors that go through it and make sure things are right and all that. But to make a long story short, my publisher, David Hancock from Morgan James, was at our Will It Fly event, and he brought me the first copy of my book. And what I did is I had everyone at that event sign it for me because I was just so excited,
Yeah,
what a proud moment. How serendipity couldn't have happened any better. How can
right.
you can't plan for that, It just
No.
it just happened.
I love that. And it was just so fun as a community that has been, helping you, cheering you on, really just being a part of your process
Hmm.
to be able to then celebrate with you live and get to just be so excited with you about it.
Right, because some of my beta readers were even there, and it was just an exciting moment. You're right. It was,
Yes.
wow, it's
I
amazing.
loved getting to be a part of that and getting to sign your book. That was just so much fun.
And now we'll do it again. What is it, next December, right? And no, November
In November.
2024, where
Yeah.
Dan is doing it again. He's going to have another live event. So I love it.
Yeah. And I love that, we're starting to really, we always helped people activate their dreams, but the
Mhm.
focus that we are putting towards that, I love that,
Yeah.
now we're doing these interviews and highlights, and it's just going to be such a great event. And so I'm
Well,
excited.
and Mariah, here's another serendipity moment. Look at
Oh,
the
yes.
title of my book, right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Catherine's Dream. There we are. Talk about
Yay.
activating a
That's right.
dream, right?
Yes,
Like,
that's right.
wow.
That's right. Well, I have already pre ordered my book.
Oh, you're so kind.
What I would love to know, you and I did have this great discussion, and I know we haven't actually even gotten to like follow up on that. So I
Oh,
am so curious to hear what is next in your journey right now. What are you looking for next?
well, a lot of it's going to be about, putting the book out there, talking about Polish heritage, connecting with people, going to,
Mhm.
like I say, some of those events in next year. I've got 4 major events I want to do, and not to
Awesome.
mention local events as well. You know,
Hmm.
not only directed towards, the Polish heritage, say, or from Eastern Europe, but women events, talking to
Hmm.
women about their dreams and, how you can activate your dream, so that's a big part of it. Another thing is I love helping authors, other
Mm.
authors who are either, just starting or maybe in the midst of looking for a publisher or published. I do every other week, I do an author meetup, and many of the Eagles are in this group. And we
Nice.
just talk about our wins and our challenges. And if there's a topic people want to know more about, I'll find a guest speaker. And so just helping
Wow.
others achieve their dreams.
Yeah, I love that. And I am excited to see where that goes because it's so much like, Dan, he started the Sunday school class, right?
Exactly.
And that grew into a business. I mean, who knows what could happen with this group that you've put together because I'm pretty sure all people pursuing writing a book could use the support, right?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the biggest thing is learning to take care of myself. Right.
Yeah.
I recently was
Yeah.
on an airplane, and what is it they tell you? Well, in the event the oxygen drops, put the oxygen mask on first so you can take
Yeah.
care of others.
Yeah.
So that's what else is in my planning, really taking care of myself, and not only
Yeah.
physically, but mentally,
Yeah.
spiritually, all of that
Yeah.
together. Hmm.
I love it. So, how can people find your book? Let's start with that. I
Okay.
know it's on pre order, right?
Yes, on pre-order right now.
Yeah.
Well, one thing you can do, well, you can go to your favorite bookstore, whether that's Barnes and Noble, Target, Amazon, Books a Million, wherever you order books, and you can find it there for pre-order. You can
Mhm.
also visit my website for more information and to become part of my book launch. And that is my name right there. You see it, roxanneboycick.com. www. Yeah. So visit that. And I have a special gift for everyone that's watching this.
Yay.
And what I would like them to do is, if you email me at roxannebocyck.com and put in the subject line free gift, when my book launches on November 21st, I will send you a free PDF or, online of my entire book, because I
Wow.
want people to read it and just enjoy it and share it with others. And so
I love it.
So
I love that.
Yeah. So Roxy at roxannebocyck.com, because I used to have a NASCAR store and it was called Roxy's Race Place.
Oh my
That's
gosh, you have done
nickname came from.
everything.
I know. Can you believe it?
I love it. I love it. Okay, I am really quickly going to make sure that we have all of your links in here, and we will follow up with that as well so that everyone can get a hold of you. There we go.
Yeah, they can follow my Facebook page and just learn, like I say, I got some exciting things planned for my book launch, so some exciting giveaways and such. So I really hope people will join and just, so I can help them too. And let me know if you're interested in writing a book, because I'd love to help you promote your book, even if you have one, so.
Oh, I love this. Well, Roxanne, thank you so much for joining me today and letting us highlight your dream. Getting to share your story is just, I love it. I'm excited to read the book myself. I can't wait. I think it's going to be fantastic. I love historical fiction, so it's one of my favorite genres. And how cool is it that I get to read a book of one of my friends? I love that.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Is there anything before we wrap up?
Okay.
Any last thoughts that you would love to share with somebody who is chasing their dreams currently?
Well, like I said, I think no matter what your dream is, I don't know, say you dream about opening a coffee shop, let's just say. Well, just take little steps. One thing Dan Miller challenged us with is Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. And one thing you need to do is write your dream down, write it on a card and fold it up and carry it with you. If you want to open a coffee shop, start visiting coffee shops, talk to the owners. Maybe you get a part-time job there, just so that you can really learn about, just taking little action on your dreams. That's all it takes, is little bit. I call it the coffee can. When you have a coffee can or a can of coffee and you scoop out of it, I got to make a pot. Well, what happens? Eventually it empties, right? But if you do the opposite, keep making those little deposits in your own coffee can, it'll fill up.
Oh, I love that. What a perfect analogy.
Yeah, let people, take little actions.
I love that. Well, you heard it here, guys. Take little actions towards those dreams. And if you are wanting to write a book, make sure that you reach out to Roxanne. Yeah. She's an excellent resource. I know that she will be so helpful for you. And of course, you can see all of her links there. Go pre-order her book. We'll actually put a link in there for that as well after post show, because I want you guys to see how awesome not only is the book, but put yourself in Roxanne's shoes. Know that you can also do this. So thank you so much, Roxanne. You are amazing. I'm super excited to get to share this with everybody. And we will definitely keep in touch. If you guys have questions, make sure to pass them. I'll pass them along to Roxanne. So, all right. Until next week, guys, stay inspired and live creatively, friends.
There we go. Bye. Bye.